It's strange, isn't it? How someone who once made you feel small, someone who left you shattered and unsure of your own worth, still crosses your mind after all this time. You move on, you build a new life, you even tell yourself you're over it. But then something random happens, a scent, a place, a song, and suddenly you're back there, back in that moment, feeling everything you swore you'd buried. It's confusing, it's painful, but here's the truth. Most people never say out loud. The people who hurt us the most often live the longest in our minds. When I say that, I don't mean you still want them. I mean your mind hasn't made peace with the version of you that existed when they broke you. It's not them you keep thinking about, it's you, the version of yourself that loved them, the version that believed, that tried, that hoped, the one that gave without holding back, the one that got destroyed in the process. Psychologically, when someone hurts us deeply, it's not just an emotional wound. It becomes a neurological imprint. Your brain doesn't just store memories, it stores emotional experiences. Every intense emotion, love, pain, fear, loss, is wired into your nervous system. So when someone made you feel something deeply, your brain built a pathway for it. That's why years later, a single trigger, a sound, a memory, can open that old pathway again, and you feel it like it's still happening. But the real reason you keep thinking about them isn't just the emotional imprint. It's because you never got closure. Not the kind you say out loud, but the kind that settles inside your body. The kind that tells your nervous system, it's safe now, you survived. Most people don't get that kind of closure, because most people leave before they ever explain why they broke you the way they did. And so your mind does what minds do best. It tries to make sense of chaos. It replays, it analyzes, it overthinks. It tries to rewrite history, to find a version where you were enough, where they stayed, where it made sense. But it never does. And every time you try to make sense of it, you reopen the wound. That's why you can be doing fine for months and then suddenly feel that ache again. Because you're not missing them. You're missing the piece that never came after them. I remember once, years after someone hurt me, I found myself standing in a grocery store and I saw a drink they used to love. And just like that, I froze. My heart raced, my throat tightened, and I had this rush of emotion I couldn't name. It wasn't longing. It wasn't sadness. It was just familiar pain. It's wild how memory hides in the smallest things. That's when I realized healing isn't about erasing someone from your mind. It's about making peace with the parts of you that still react to their memory. Psychologically, this is what's called an emotional association loop. Your mind associates certain people with strong emotional experiences, and your body remembers that intensity. It's like emotional muscle memory. You might not love them anymore, but your body remembers what it felt like to love them. It remembers what it felt like to lose them. And until that memory loses its emotional charge, your brain will keep bringing it up, hoping to find resolution. That's why, sometimes, even if they were toxic, even if they betrayed you, even if you know they weren't good for you, you still think about them. Because trauma and love are stored in the same place, deep in the emotional brain. Your logic can move on, but your emotional wiring takes time. But here's something powerful to understand. The reason you still think about them means your heart is still capable of deep feeling. It means you loved with sincerity. You cared with your whole soul. The pain you feel is not weakness. It's evidence that you once dared to open up. And that, no matter what happened, is something to be proud of. There's also something else happening underneath. The human mind confuses familiarity with safety. Even if a relationship was unhealthy, it was still familiar. And familiarity is comforting to the brain, especially when life feels uncertain. So when you're lonely, or stressed, or lost, Your mind subconsciously reaches for the last person who made you feel something, even if that feeling was pain. Because pain at least feels familiar. This is why people end up stuck in emotional loops with their past. It's not obsession. It's not weakness. It's the mind's desperate attempt to return to what feels known. The unknown feels more terrifying than the pain we already understand. But here's the truth. Healing starts when you stop trying to erase them, when you stop trying to forget. Healing begins when you can think about them and your body no longer reacts. When you can remember but your heart stays calm. And that's the real closure. Not forgetting, but transforming the memory into something neutral. Psychologists call this emotional decoupling. It's when your brain finally separates the memory from the emotional charge attached to it. You still remember what happened, but it no longer defines how you feel. That's when you've truly healed, when their name feels like just a word again. To reach that place, you have to stop resisting your emotions. You have to feel the ache, the confusion, the unanswered question, not to stay stuck in them, but to release them. Because every emotion you avoid becomes stored in your body, and the body keeps score. It remembers what your mind tries to forget. So, if you still think about them, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is asking you to finally finish the story, to stop waiting for them to apologize, and instead, give yourself the closure they never could. Write the letter you'll never send. Say the words you never said. Cry for the version of you who loved them anyway. Then, let that version of you rest, because healing isn't about letting go of them. It's about letting go of who you were with them. You might never stop remembering them completely, and that's okay, because memories are not your enemy. They're proof that you lived, that you felt deeply, that you experienced something real, but you don't have to keep reliving it. The moment you stop chasing the why they left, why they hurt you, why it happened that way, and start focusing on the what now, that's when your energy starts returning to you. That's when you stop thinking about them and start thinking about yourself again. And one day, without realizing it, you'll see something that used to remind you of them, and you'll just smile. You'll feel nothing heavy, nothing sharp, just peace. That's when you'll know you've healed. So if you're still thinking about someone who hurt you years ago, don't hate yourself for it. Understand yourself through it, because you're not weak for remembering. You're human for feeling. And if you and I are anything alike, and you want to keep walking this path with me, then subscribe.